Hi, my name's Kevin Rennie. I'm the fire chief in the city of Ventura. We're here today for our grand reopening of Fire Station 4, which due to budget recession throughout the nation as well as local, we had to close this fire station. It definitely impacted our community. It affected our ability to provide timely response throughout this community. But we're very happy that the federal government granted us a grant for $2.3 million to reopen this fire station. This is one of the most important pieces of the safety of our community, is having appropriate resources throughout it. So we're very pleased to reopen the fire station. Our civic leaders are here today to honor us in that regard, as well as our congressional folks that send their best wishes as well. So on behalf of the Ventura Fire Department, we are extremely pleased to open this fire station to our community.
All right, everyone, good morning. We're going to go ahead and try and get started here and take advantage of the weather. It's not supposed to rain until after 11 o'clock, so we're going to try and take advantage of that right now. Again, good morning. We'd like to welcome you here today. I'm very excited to see this turnout, I'm sure as is Chief Rennie and many of our city staff and our city leaders for the support of Fire Station number 4's reopening. My name is David Ndaya. I'm a battalion chief with the Ventura City Fire Department. We've been waiting for that applause for this day for about a year and a half, right, Chief? We're very excited to be here today to celebrate this reopening. We'd like to thank many of the firefighters who are here today, chief officers, on behalf of Chief Rennie, as well as the many dignitaries who I know he's going to take an opportunity to recognize when the chief comes up to speak to you all. We'd like to thank the public for being here, and the many dignitaries from political office who have supported us through this process and brought us to this day to put us back in service, to be here 24/7 around the clock, to provide service and safety to the citizens of Ventura, especially in this area. It's been a long time coming, and we're very excited to be back, to be part of your community, and to be running calls. The irony of firefighting is when we have a slow day, that's actually a good day for the community. And when we have a busy day, that means there's been crises left and right. We don't look for those days, but if there are crises, we like to respond and we want to be there to help. And we're glad that we're going to be here 24/7 from here on out to serve you on the east end and to make the team effort around us just a better effort overall. So we appreciate it and thank you for your support being here today. Today is a day to celebrate. We are here. We've hit a bump in the road. We're back, and we intend to provide the best service available. We have some very excited, energetic, and enthusiastic firefighters. We have some new fire captains, some new fire engineers, raring to go, and they're waiting to start their careers in their new positions. Several of them are assigned to this station. My personal connection to this station, it was my first assignment, right out of being a rookie, coming off of probation. So I'm very familiar with the bathrooms, the floors, the flagpoles, and the coffee maker. Not to mention the leaves. I don't like pine trees. I learned that as a rookie. This is actually where I was assigned when I met my beautiful wife, and so it brings back a lot of memories there. Times have changed. Things have gotten a little bit different, but we live a third of our lives here, prepared to answer the call, and we are away from those people a third of our lives or more. And it does. This is our second home. It means a lot, and I think that's why it hit so hard when we had to close the doors on a full-time station. So without me talking too much today, I'd like to start off by introducing the person who leads this fire department through thick and thin, through the difficult times, and celebrates the good times with us. And I know this is probably one of the highlights of his career as a fire chief. Please welcome along with me Fire Chief of the Ventura City Fire Department, Kevin Rennie.
As David said, this is a proud moment for me as a fire chief, and through thick and thin, that's a reality. I think when the day I took this job and city manager gave me the badge. He said, anybody can do this job when it's easy. Let's see what you can do when it's tough. And you know what? I'm not gonna point to myself that we got this fire station open. It's a collective team, and I have a tremendous command staff that when I challenged them, they came through, and that's the difference that we're going to make in this community as well as this entire city. So on behalf of the fire department, I want to thank you for being here to recognize this historic event. It was historic that we had to close a fire station, and it's historic that we've reopened one, and I'm proud to be the fire chief that did that. When I talk about a team effort, I want to bring up a couple of people that have truly made this a joint effort. Assistant Chief Don McPherson. Don, come on up. I know you didn't know you were going to do this. Don and I have worked together for many years, and when I took command of this department, I wouldn't have done it without this man right next to me. And I'll tell you what, he works more than 24 hours a day, as his wife Patricia can attest. And it's the hard work of men like this that made this work, makes this entire fire department click. He's a good man, and I'm very proud to work with you. Thank you so much. You don't have to stand there if you don't. I don't want you to get wet. Okay, I also want to acknowledge my command staff again. We have battalion chiefs. You've met Dave and Dye, our training chief, battalion chief, soon to go out to the field after our recruit class is over. I have newly promoted Tony Hill to battalion chief. Matt Brock is one of our shift battalion chiefs, as well as Jack Hansen, who couldn't attend due to a family issue. But and then my fire marshal, Brian Clark. These are the command staff that come together, make decisions, and really put their right foot forward when it's time to move. So I'm very thankful for that. As well as our administrative assistant, or administrative analyst, Victor Dobush. Victor was the artist of pen that penned this grant that we're going to talk about here shortly. It's not an easy thing to do. In fact, this is the first large grant that this fire department, and I think the city, in a safety role anyway, to get over $2 million to provide services is huge. And Victor did a great job. So Victor, on behalf of everybody, we thank you for your skills, as well as the administrative staff, Jeannie McGovern and whatnot, that put forth a great effort to do that. So thank you so much. I'd like to acknowledge some of our dignitaries that are here. Mayor Mike Tracy is with us. Deputy Mayor Heitman is in transit right now. I believe she's probably in the air somewhere. She couldn't make it, but she sends her congratulations as well. We have Council Member Christy Weir with us. Council Member Carl Morehouse. Council Member Jim Monahan. Former Mayor Jack Tinstrom and a neighbor of ours. Our City Manager Rick Cole. We have District Representative Carla Castilla from Lois Cap's office that's here. And I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize some of my department head friends. We work closely together in this city, and it truly shows in things like this. This fire station didn't open with just the fire department working on it. It took a team, and I want to acknowledge that as well. I value the support that I get from my department head colleagues, and I'm proud to say that Police Chief Ken Corney's here supporting us as well. Ken's been a very big supporter of the fire department, and we thank you for being here, Ken. Lane Preston, our city clerk, is here as well, and if I've missed any of the other department heads, I apologize, but it's a pretty big group. Ed Summers from the Chamber of Commerce is here, former council member, another huge supporter of the fire department. And then last but not least, dignitaries of some retired folks, assistant chiefs from past eras when I was hired a million years ago. They came back to see this. And fire captains that I first worked for that were hired when this station was built in 1964. This is a big deal to this fire department, this community, and it's sure a proud moment for me to have you recognized with us. So thank you very much. Fire Station 4, this station that you see right here, it's not a lavish by any means, but in 1964, it was built in this east end of Ventura because our predecessors saw the need for emergency services out here. That certainly has not changed. In fact, it's gotten much more needed. So how do you close a fire station? Why would you do that? Obviously, we all know that we were in a national recession, that the money just simply was not there. We made some very painful decisions citywide. $15 million worth of cuts in a small city like ours makes a big difference, and we were part of that wave of decisions to do things differently. So what did we do as a fire department? We knew it affected this community. We knew it would affect our emergency services citywide. And we did see a marked increase in our response times and our ability to get to where we needed to in a timely manner. The closure of this fire station brought us back to 1974 staffing levels. In 1974, let alone 64 when this station was built, we didn't go on that many calls. Now we're up to nearly 12,000 calls per year across the city, and even more if you count our mutual aid and automatic aid agreements with our partner agency. So our volume, our workload is high, and this station closure had something to do with that. It definitely had an impact on what we do. But I want to reach out and say thanks to my firefighters. They were asked to do things differently. They were asked to step up to the plate and move like we've never moved before. The craft of our battalion chiefs, and I tell you what, I think that these guys could probably be the best chess players in the world, because the pieces that they moved around daily because of the closure of the station was truly a great thing. And although we didn't have any conflagrations, we didn't have city blocks burning down, we certainly had emergencies that got larger because we weren't there on time. And the skills that they possess when they get there really made a big difference. And it's not just fires, it's medical emergencies. You know, who knows how many calls that we could have made a difference, but we weren't able to get there. But we did the best that we could with the services that we could provide, that we were given, and I'm proud of the firefighters. And on behalf of myself and my command staff, thanks for stepping up and doing what was right. How does a fire department get $2.3 million to open a fire station? We work like crazy throughout this city to try to take advantage of any grant that's available to us. Okay, it takes a lot of paperwork, it takes a lot of time, energy, and trying to figure out how that all works. So the federal government comes up with what they call a SAFER grant, and that's a staffing for adequate fire and emergency response is what the acronym stands for. And you submit application for that. And I have to tell you, I have several fire chiefs from throughout California call and say, how on earth did you land that grant? Because so few of them are out there. In fact, we were one of 446 grants in 2010 for just this that we did, is to restore fire and emergency services that were cut because of the recession. So how do you do that? And I can only point to it's a compelling story here in Ventura. The closure of this fire station is only a minuscule part of the reductions that we've seen over about a 15-year period. So we were able to, through Victor's pen, put that to paper and really had a compelling story to send. I remembered the day. In fact, I just met Carla Castilla today. She was on the phone when she called my office and told us that we were on the receiving end of this grant. I will never forget your voice, and it's a pleasure to meet you today. So our citywide efficiency has... I should have recorded it. Our citywide efficiency has improved since last week when we opened this station. In fact, this fire station responded to 2 fires this last week. They were first in, where it would have been a longer response time. We were able to knock the fire down. But in partnership with our police department, we were able to find the arsonist that lit those 2 fires. And I'm going to be there to make sure that guy goes to jail for it. So, but it allows for protection for our citizens and our firefighters. One of the things as a fire chief that I lay awake at night, and my wife Donna can attest, when I hear sirens, I go to my phone to see where it is. This last year and a half, I live in this area myself. People said, "You close your own fire station?" Yeah. It wasn't a great choice, but it was the best one at the time. But truly, it's what I think about every day is keeping this community safe and my firefighters safe. So what's it take to reopen a fire station? Many people might think that you just simply put a key in the door, open it up, and then they go back to work. Hardly. Okay? What we do is we recruit for the best people that we can possibly find to hire. We only hire paramedics in this organization. We have 100% paramedic response on all of our apparatus. It's a very good service that we provide, and we go out and find the best. And I'm proud to say that we've found the best to reopen the station. We're continuing to find the best and recruit. And I'm very thankful that people from other organizations are willing to come here and be a part of Ventura. It's always been my goal to protect the citizens and the firefighters here in this community. This federal grant allows us to do that, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm reminded of a grandfather who provided some advice to his granddaughter, and it goes something like this. Listen, if you're ever in trouble, if you're ever in a place that you don't feel good, go to a firehouse. The firefighters will help you. I'm confident that this community and our leadership within this community is going to keep the doors of this fire station open so that everybody can get results that they need in times of need. Again, on a very special day, thank you for coming to recognize that this is an important piece of our safety of this community, and I thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chief Rennie, for your words. I had an introduction, and I've now changed it to someone who needs no introduction, because we've heard about her amazing, instrumental participation in our grant application through Congresswoman Lois Capps' office in Port Hueneme. You've heard it. She really helped get this through, and she was actually the phone call maker to say, we got it. We did it, and it was through their support and their pushing and really putting our cause forward that the grant that Victor wrote was taken, but it had to go somewhere. Ms. Castilla did that, and we really can't thank you and Congresswoman Capps enough for your efforts in assisting us to be what it is we want to be, which is public service and public servants to the city of Ventura. So without further ado, the district representative from Congresswoman Lois Capps' Port Hueneme office, Ms. Carla Castilla.
So with that, I'd like to read a statement on her behalf. I'm sorry that I couldn't be with you today for this exciting event. This project has been a long time coming. Chief Rennie, the city of Ventura, and the entire community have worked so hard for so long to make this reopening a reality. And I'm proud to have been able to help support the federal funding from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security that will cover a portion of the salaries and benefits for our city's firefighters and allow Station 4 to reopen. This reopening is a prime example of how federal dollars can be put to work locally to create jobs, ensure public safety in these tough economic times. But we must make tough choices to address our serious budget problems at all levels of government. We must also ensure that our public safety does not suffer. That's why I'm working in Washington to help keep firefighters on the job by strongly supporting full funding for the fire and safer grants. These critical federal grant programs help ensure our local firefighters have the critical infrastructure, safety equipment, and personnel to keep our communities safe. Today is a celebration of what can be accomplished when we work together for a common good. We've waited a long time for this day to come, but it's finally here. Again, congratulations to Chief Rennie, our firefighting professionals, the City of Ventura, and the entire Ventura community for this great achievement. We're so honored to be here with you. To commemorate this day, we'd like to present a certificate of special congressional recognition to Fire Station 4 in the City of Ventura in recognition of its outstanding and invaluable service to this community. Again, we're so grateful. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you to Congresswoman Cap. I also in receipt from Elton Gallagher's office. The congressman couldn't be here today, but he did send a letter of recognition as well, and also this flag that flew over the Capitol. And we will proudly fly this flag above Fire Station 4 in memory of that recognition. Thank you.
Thank you again, Ms. Castillo, and please bring our thanks back to Congresswoman Capps' office from all of us here. We really appreciate it. Next up, I'd like to introduce someone who is charged with probably one of the most difficult tasks in the city, and that is our city manager, who, regardless of what the resources are and what the funding is, and decisions that have to be made, some of which are incredibly difficult and not always received well. The decisions are always made. They're always done, I think, looking much farther down the road than most of us would be capable of doing. So with that, I'd like you to welcome our city manager, Rick Cole.
It was nearly 2 years ago when Chief Kevin Rennie and I were at Citrus Glen Elementary School, along with Councilmember Morehouse, who was in the audience, Councilmember Weir, who was in the audience. And it was our job to explain to well over 100 residents in this immediate area why closing Station 4 was the least worst choice facing the city. David made mention of the fact that because of the recession, in order to live within our means, we had to reduce city spending by $15 million. To put that into context, at the time, our city budget was about $95 million. $10 million of that goes out the door. The council has no discretion over it. It goes to debt service for capital projects long since built but not yet fully paid for. It goes to other levels of government. That means we've got about $85 million, and we had to cut 15 out of 85. That is a nearly 20% reduction in the resources we had to provide all of the services that the community relies upon. So it was extraordinarily painful to have to close a fire station, to have to reduce over 2 years our fire department by 13 sworn firefighter paramedics. We had to reduce all of government. We cut 92 jobs citywide. Most departments took much deeper cuts because we felt that public safety was the council's #1 priority. I would like to say that today those problems are behind us, but they're not. The recovery is slow, but steady. The recovery is threatened by events beyond the control of any of us standing here. What happens in China, what happens in Europe, what happens in Washington, D.C., and what happens in Sacramento are beyond our control. But we have fought to make the most of the resources that we have. And what David said and what Kevin said about our firefighter paramedics can be said about all of the departments in the city. That they have stepped up to the plate individually by making sacrifices in their paychecks, and at work by working harder and smarter to get the job done. We've had a 20% cut in our resources, but you don't see a 20% reduction in the quality of services that we're providing to the community. And I'd like to end on a note that I think we can take pride in. The weather is beyond our control. But last night, as it rained and rained and rained, and I thought about whether this was all going to be washed out, it really reminds me with this sun of the situation we've been through as Venturans and as Americans. It's been raining very hard these last 4 years. A lot of dreams and hopes and aspirations and expectations have been washed away by those hard rains. But the sun has come out. And although there are still clouds in the sky, and the weather says that the rain will return, we're going to make the most of the sun while the sun is shining. We're going to put people back to work. We're going to serve this community with pride and a belief in excellence in public service. And over the next 3 years, we're going to have to figure out how to keep that going when this grant and our matching funds run out. And at the same time, we're going to have to figure out how to reopen the equivalent of Station 4 when it comes to our police department, who've had the same kind of reductions as the fire department, and the even deeper reductions that have happened in all of the other services that the city provides. We're going to have to do that together. And so when I think back to when Kevin and I were at Citrus Glen, those 100 people, many of you probably were in that audience, thought we were making a mistake. And I understand that. But we kept the faith, you kept the faith, and because of our common effort, we're here today reopening that station. Many people thought it should never be closed, but once the doors were closed, many people thought it would never be reopened. It's open today because of our common work. Over the next 3 years, we're going to have to join hands, work together, and take advantage of the sun while the sun is shining. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cole, for your words. Someone else who's going to be very instrumental in that process that City Manager Cole just referred to is someone who's leading our City Council right now, who's going to lead us through the next 2 years of decision making and resource finding. So with that, please join me in welcoming the Mayor of the City of Ventura, Mike Tracy.
The nice thing about going last is it's all been said. Generally, police and firefighters, police officers and firefighters are men and women of few words. I'm thinking maybe we should run Kevin Rennie for City Council. He had a lot to say today. My congratulations to everyone on the Ventura City Fire Department. This is a huge accomplishment. It's just, I don't think anyone thought it could be done except the men and women of the Ventura City Fire Department. So congratulations. It's a great day for this community. It's a great day for this neighborhood. All the people who lived in this neighborhood saw their fire station leave. They immediately felt that the city was abandoning them. This is terrific that we're back occupying this area. Rick made the point about other city resources, and I think when you close a fire station, close a library, it's a real visible loss of service. But there's a number of other areas in our community where in our city service where we're lacking, and it's less visible than closing a fire station. But I think this city council is going to have to make some real tough decisions in the year and two to 4 years ahead to reallocate resources to public safety and our core services. I mean, talking about our infrastructure, maintaining our critical infrastructure and maintaining our critical core services. I think we experienced with the closure of this station, we saw what happened. Our response times have gone down significantly. We've been less capable of responding to the emergencies that people expect the city to respond to. We're experiencing the same thing on the police side. Our crime rate is up. We're less able to deal with the critical issues related to crime and security that people expect from the city government. It's going to be very difficult for us to prioritize our services, but it's going to be the challenge of the city council in the next couple of years. I just again want to thank Kevin for the hard work they did getting the station open. Congratulate the community and Kevin and the fire service on what's happening here. So with that, I think we're getting ready to cut this ribbon, which I'm an expert at these days. It's been pointed out they're not going to give me anything sharp for fear I might hurt myself, so I'm going to be manning the fake scissors. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor Tracy. That's correct. The moment we've kind of come here for to celebrate symbolically the reopening. For those of you who don't know, we actually did open the doors to the station and went back into full service at around 7:30 a.m. on January 11th. We wanted to get settled in. It was a bit like the Mayflower truck pulling up to the house, and we had to get everything settled. We've done that. Our firefighters have worked very hard. They've actually been busy running calls. Right now, what we're going to kind of do is shift everybody that would like to observe a little bit this way, and we're going to have all of a large group of very important people over here at the engine for a ribbon cutting ceremony. We're going to have Fire Chief Kevin Rennie, Assistant Fire Chief Don McPherson, Mayor Tracy, and all council members who are present, please come up to the fire engine, along with Ms. Castilla from Congresswoman Cap's office. The station is open to tour, to walk through. There are many firefighters here that are willing to discuss what we do, why we do it, why we chose this profession. You're welcome to walk through the station. There are some refreshments inside that have been provided free of charge by Brian Schofield. I don't know if you got here, Brian, but thank you very much for supporting us today in this event. Logistics, there's also obviously restrooms inside the station if you need them, and we have some firefighter turnouts and helmets for the kids. They can try them on. Feel free to feel the weight that they put out. Parents can take some pictures. There's an engine to tour. And again, just please, this is yours as much as it is ours, so please feel free to tour around, and there's some fire safety information inside as well. Once we cut the ribbon, that will be the end of the formal part of this, and please feel free to enjoy your fire station. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do what we came here to do and reopen the station. If you all want to count down with me, we'll count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you all very much for coming, and please enjoy your fire station. Thank you.